Hey everybody! Today's mini lesson is on exponents. Nice short title for you. Exponents. So please label your next page as exponents. Close up your math notebook with your pencil marked in it and be ready to concentrate. Here we go. So let's talk about a real world little situation here. Let's say, so there are some bacteria that can divide in two, like split from 1 into 2 every hour. Crazy, right? And so if you caught one of these, let's say at the very beginning of a 7-hour school day, how many of these could be in your body at the end of a 7-hour school day? So let's just think about that. So, let's make like a table. This is always a good way to organize some problems is with a table. So hours and bacteria. Right? So like no hours have gone by. You've just gotten to school, 0 hours, and you catch the first bacteria. There's one. So in 2 hours, not 2 hours, I'm sorry, in 1 hour, that one bacteria has split into 2 bacteria. In 2 hours, those 2 bacteria, each one of them splits into 2, right? So by the end of 2 hours, you have 4 bacteria in your body. Hour 3, each of those 4 has split into 2, and now there are 8 bacteria in your body. 4 hours have gone by, you're up to 16. 5 hours have gone by, you're up, look at that, 32. 6 hours have gone by, all of those double, 64. And by the time you go home, you're already, that one bacteria has turned into 128 bacteria, and it only gets worse from there. Because it starts to really go up fast now. If you go to 8 hours, you would double that. 9 hours, you would double that. I don't know if I can do that. 500. And let's just do it on here. 256 times 2. 10 hours. 11 hours. 12 hours. Look how fast this starts to go up. You got 22,000 in a few hours. So anyway, what's happening there, the way I solved that was I kept multiplying by 2. So I I ended up going 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So we have a special way of writing this down. There's a little symbol in math. If I want to write that I'm going to keep multiplying over and over and over again, the same thing, like this here, I would write this with what's called an exponent. I would write that as 2, and I say to the 6th power, like that. That means 2 times itself 6 times. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 multiplied 6 times. This is called an exponent right here, that little 6. All right, let's do some quick examples of how they work. They're pretty easy to do. They're just hard to kind of remember. There's an easy mistake to make. So like I'll do that last one. If I say 2 to the 6th power, that means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. The easy mistake to make is to say that means 2 times 6, and it does not mean 2 times 6. That's the easy mistake that you'll probably make at least once, is when you see an exponent to just multiply the 2 things. But it doesn't work nearly that way, because 2 times 6 is 12, whereas 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is what? 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 16 times 2 is 32, 32 times 2 is 64. It's way more than 2 times 6. It's 64. So that's how they work. You can also do an exponent with a fraction. If I want to find like 1/4, and I say to the 4th power, that means 1/4 times 1/4 times 1/4 times 1/4. So this is the easiest multiplying to do. because I just multiply numerators and multiply denominators. I can really easily do my numerators. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is going to be 1. Denominators, 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. And 64 times 4 is 16, 24, 20, 256. So 1/4 to the 4th power is 1/256th. This does not mean 1/4 times 4, which would just be 4/4 or 1. Does not mean that. That's the easiest mistake to make, is that it just means 1/4 times 4. All right, same thing with decimals. I can say what is 3 31/100ths to the, usually if like the fraction, it would look kind of weird to me to just put this exponent there. Just like if I did 1/4 to the 4th power, usually you kind of put parentheses around it just to kind of make it clear that it all goes together. So this also with a decimal, frequently you're going to put that in parentheses to the 3rd power. So that just means 3 31/100ths times 3 31/100ths times 3 31/100ths. 3 times I do it. It does not mean this. Does not. So I'm going to calculator this because this will take me forever without it. So 3 31/100ths, 3 31/100ths, 3 31/100ths, and 3 31/100ths to the 3rd power is, a long thing to write down, 36, and a long decimal. Let's see, 264,691, 264,691. I of course will know how to say this correctly, so let's see, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, 100,000ths, millionths. So that is 36 and 264,691 millionths. There you go. All right, open your math notebook. Let's do a couple together. Let's do a whole number, a fraction, and a decimal together. So, and x, let's start with, how about 8 to the 4th power. I want you to write how you would say that too. That is, you would pronounce that 8 to the 4th power. That's how you would say that. 8 to the 4th power. 8 to the 4th power is 8 times 8 times 8 times 8. Also, right way off to the side, it is not 8 times 4. It is not. For whatever reason, that's just a really common mistake that gets made. It's 8 times 8 times 8 times 8. All right, and 8 times 8 times 8 times 8 is, I'm just going to go fast on my calculator, 8 times 8 times 8 times 8 is 4,096. Nowhere close to 32, which is 8 times 4. How about a fraction? How about 2/3 to the 5th power? Why don't we do? Going to be a doozy. So that's 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3. I'm going to give my calculator some good exercise here today. So my numerator of my answer is going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That one I could probably do without, but I can do faster here. Times 2 times 2, 4, 5. It's going to be 32 for my numerator. Denominator, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 32, 240 thirds. Quite a fraction right there. 32 240thirds. And last but not least, let's do a decimal. Decimals get out of hand pretty fast, so I'll try to keep it small. Let's do 6 9/10 to the third power. That is not 6 9/10 times 3. Somebody's going to do it at some point, but it's not. That is 6 9/10 times 6 9/10 times 6 9/10, which is 1, 2, 3. 328 and 509 thousandths. 328, 509 thousandths. There you go. That's how exponents works. Not much to them. The main thing is just don't do this. Once you feel like you have a good handle on these, you're all set, and I will see you tomorrow.